we can start the meeting because we have a quorum.
Yep.
And I think we can introduce ourselves. We have our guest Neil, who's interested in joining the committee.
Okay.
But maybe we can give a minute for each of us or less, whatever it is.
Okay. I think you should go first.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
That's Madam Chair.
Okay,
Your
Matt.
prerogative.
Yeah, when people say madam, I usually think they were in the military or something. Okay, so, we've met a couple of times informally. I know his wife Judy better, but I'm Laura, and I've been chairing this committee, I hate to say it, since 2015.
Uh-huh.
And Chuck Gillette, the select board said, yes, we want to form a green community, but we need someone to be the chair. I said, okay. So we became a green community, and just about me. So, but before that, prior to that, I was the director of a nonprofit environmental organization, the Center for Ecotechnology, for about 30 plus years. So but we focus more on the built environment than the turtles and the frogs and the trees. So I kind of understand heat loss theory better than other things.
Where was that based?
We were in Pittsfield and then Northampton and
Okay.
Springfield, and now really nationally it's
Okay.
working. It's really expanded and thriving. Unbelievable, great work. And then here in Stockbridge, I walk with my dog and I have my hobbies and I chair this, and I think I might do some other volunteer work. I'm doing other small things, but just kind of have my hobbies and do the Berkshire things. That's it. I have a lot of academic credentials.
Miles Moffat. I've been born in West Stockbridge and then raised there, and then moved back to the Berkshires 8 years ago. I'm a consulting engineer doing water work. I'm still working. And I'm also on the ZBA board here in town. And I'm an avid member of the Stockbridge Golf Club. So if you are interested, are you a member now?
I am not.
But I'm very active there on the board and taking care of the grounds and the homes, the housing and stuff like that. And of course, yeah, we have a lot of property to maintain. So that takes some of my time.
That's a lot.
Yep.
I have a terrible joke about golfing, but
Right.
That's a lot of good jokes about.
I'm not a golfer.
All we need is a lawyer here and we'd be all set.
Yeah. No, or not. I've joked about lawyers too. Steve Averbush. I still feel like I'm a newbie. We moved to Stockbridge in 21 from Princeton, New Jersey. Retired. Moved at the height of the pandemic. And then we became residents here. I'll compare my academic credentials with yours, Laura. I said I'll compare my academic.
Okay, yeah, you're way ahead of me.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm a physician. I'm a medical oncologist, but then a retired pharmaceutical executive. And environment has always been a passion of mine. And when I retired, I decided to get a little bit more engaged. So I'm engaged in a whole variety of things at the national and local level. I just got invited to become on the advisory council for the Environmental League of Massachusetts. And
Congratulations.
I've been on other things and, on some of the national big green organizations as a supporter and engaged with them. So I just do this because I feel, I want to contribute broadly, nationally and locally on sustainability, and especially with a focus on climate and health. Since as a physician, I have a voice and expertise in certain areas that I can speak to. So that's why I'm here. And I'm also just like contributing back to the community in different ways. Still seeking other ways to get engaged in a way that makes sense.
Great. And we'll get Tim's introduction when he arrives. But do you want us to just share a bit about yourself?
So I've lived in Stockbridge for, I think we're going on 19 years. I've taught at Monument Mountain High School for 30. I retired about 7 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's exciting.
What do you teach?
I taught art and photography and digital art.
Okay, cool.
And usually a school like that, I did a lot of.
And that was at the high school level.
Yeah. And at Monument, I did a lot of committee work. I was union president. I just did a lot of like, that other layer of administrative, make sure things are working well kind of jobs. In addition to that, I've been a board of health in Covington, Massachusetts. I've worked for 2 different not-for-profits. So I've got a history there of just basically giving to the community and trying to make things happen. So my interest here is, one, I recently got solar. I recently bought an electric vehicle. I'm very much looking to see what can I do. And I like to, I love talking about it. Find somebody that'll listen, and they need to know. Anyway, so I thought this would be one, because I believe in what you are doing, and B, now that I'm retired, I'm looking for ways to connect to the community. And though I've been a resident of Stockbridge, I haven't done anything with town, the town. This looked like a great place to dip my feet.
Great. I just want to add one more thing, and I think, everything you said just resonated with my parallel. And one of the reasons I asked to be on this committee was when I went to Michael and said, what can I do to contribute back to the town? He said, the Green Committee is a committee that gets stuff done. I said, sold. So I said, sold, so.
I think that we're all very busy and want to feel that what we're doing is making a difference and is appreciated, I would just say, because we're volunteers and it's our time. So, we feel really good about what we've done, I'd say, collectively. So what I would say, Tim isn't here. I just want to we want to get to the minutes and approve those from the last meeting and be on the agenda. But I think and Mike can chime in, the process for joining the committee would be for you to now take what you've written and just put it into a brief paragraph. I think I shared some with you, and send it to the select board and just say, I'm interested in becoming a member of the Green Communities Committee. Here's Tim. Anybody can do that, but, and I think that we can, our committee can say that we want to,
Hey, Tim.
I think if we wanted to, we could add to that we recommend you as well. So it would come with that recommendation if you guys feel comfortable with that. Okay. I know that there's another candidate who sent me an email, message today that she couldn't come, and she would be a great member, but I think she'll understand everything will be fine, and she could still do the same thing. So it still could be up to the board, but I would encourage you to do that. I think you would be a great addition. Do you have any other comments?
Are we limited in terms of the number?
Yes, we're a 5-board committee. I mean, we could, at some point we did that. We could, it really is all about quorum in some ways, quorum and ease of getting things done. But that's, exactly. I know in my mind, I'm thinking, can we have alternates? Can we do this? Can we do that? But here we are. Okay. Tim, welcome.
Okay, sorry I'm late.
And that's okay. We just introduced ourselves and proceeded a little bit because we had a quorum. But do you want to just say a couple of words to introduce yourself to Neil? Because he's hopefully going to be joining the committee.
Okay, wonderful. Tim O'Brien, I've retired, a former engineer with the energy, across the energy industry for pretty much all of my career. So that's a little background on me.
Okay. Let me see, I can't find, I can probably, any comments on, I know I didn't send them out the last time and I can't really find the minutes from the last meeting, but they're here somewhere.
Did you send them out?
I've sent them out probably a couple of times. Tim,
They were very thorough, Laura. I have no comments.
okay, yeah,
Pass them around.
Tim usually reviews them, edits them and makes them better. And,
Had no,
oh yeah,
Big Dad.
here they are, Tim, yeah. Do you want me to send them out real quickly?
I read them when you sent them out.
What?
I read them when you sent them out.
Okay.
I didn't have
I'm
any.
looking at them now. By the time you vote.
I found them, yeah.
Vote.
Okay. Any questions or comments or anything?
none here.
Okay,
None. None. Looks good.
okay,
I move to approve.
okay, wait a second, let me get there. Okay, this would be from the June 11th meeting. And then Steve moves, is there a second?
Second?
Okay. Miles. Okay, great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. So I'll send them to the town clerk and then she posts them.
Great.
Okay, that now we are up to our agenda because we've done those things. So we did the minutes, we've done the community membership. Oh shit, is this it? Okay, I guess this is it. This says Wednesday, August 3rd. Okay. The next thing is a potential visit from Lee Davis. Do you want to just give a quick update on that?
Yeah, so that's not going to happen.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Okay.
So let me just put,
What was that gonna be?
so the Lee is on the, and Neil, you know, Lee Davis is our representative on the state house. She is on the Climate Action and Sustainability Committee of the House. And she has arranged and spearheaded a site visit of that committee to the Berkshires. I'm not sure what specifically her agenda was for that, but when I heard about this, I said, oh, here's an opportunity for us to showcase the Green Committee and Stockbridge or whatever. So we sent in a proposal to her office about visiting us. We didn't make the cut, and she's not the chair of the committee, so she's not making the decisions anyway. But I've been working with her intern, who is based in the Berkshires. So they're going to visit Green Acres, they're going to visit Lake Mansfield, that project. They're going to visit something with the Housatonic cleanup. And it's really for the legislators. This is not for a PR public event. It's a fact finding for them. Educational stuff. So that's fine, but I did have the opportunity to follow up and say, okay, I was going to bring to this committee, do we have any interest in speaking to Lee or to that committee about any issues that we have? We could set up another time. So the door is there for us to open if we so choose, now that I've made that connection. And, and Michael, for you as well, if there's anything that would, any issues or any topics that we want her to hear from Stockbridge, we have the opportunity to reach out. She's very responsive, and it's just they're on the table to take it up, but we shouldn't do it if we don't have a need. And that, we don't need the extra work or PR or, so it would be for purpose.
Yeah, we regularly work with her.
I'm sure you do, in terms of.
Harassing that. Yeah.
So just, that's it.
Okay,
Very good write-up between yourself and Laura, if you contributed as well. One point that was made in there is that we're interested about the vision, priorities, and insights of this House committee, as well as any opportunities to serve as a resource. So in my mind, that issue is still out there.
Okay.
I think that's
for feedback.
right. I think that's all, it's always good to know what they're doing and what their priorities are. So I agree with you. I don't know. It might be just a conversation with Lee at some point when she's in town. We could do that, I think.
And I would say probably more for next year. I think, her priorities right now are on other topics, and especially as a freshman legislator. And climate is not at the top of anyone's priority in the political world right now. So, it's also about timing
Right.
and not trying to force it. So, I think especially if we get the climate leader designation, we can leverage that and say, now what, how can we optimize this opportunity for ourselves and interact with her on that basis? So maybe something to take up on next year.
I think that's good. It's just good to keep in the back of our minds when we're running into something. Okay, the other item I have on the agenda, I don't know, I know why I put this on here. Mike and I met and I want to make sure that we had an update on some of the things that we talked about. But one of the things that I brought up to Michael based on conversation is it's just what's generally around is there's more awareness about trees and pesticides and native plants and just trying to think, but in my mind, again, we sort of confine ourselves to town operations and policies and way to become more green, sustainable, clean, whatever you want to call it as a town. But one of the questions that I had was are there land use policies for buying native plants or replacing trees with native plants and things like that and just managing the town properties. And so Mike suggested that we meet with the tree warden, that would be the first stop. In the meantime, I did get a couple of my friends who are very active in pollinator kind of stuff, sent me some policies from other towns that they have. Like they don't say that you have to buy annuals that are, whatever. You can get your zinnias and any annuals. They don't, but trying to look at what their policies are for trees and big plantings or small plantings. So I think that I can just contact her or we can invite her to a meeting, either way. I think, maybe the first thing would just be to give her a call and see if she'd like to come to a meeting or just have a conversation with one or more of us. And I can let you know when that would be.
She's a consultant or is she?
No, she's elected.
She's our tree warden.
Oh, she's the tree.
She's the tree warden.
I don't know her.
Town.
No.
We don't have.
I knew the old,
established-
I knew the other.
We
Land.
knew Curtin, Peter Curtin.
Knew him he was there for a long time, right?
I met him,
But I
yeah.
don't know the new lady.
Yeah, we don't,
What's her name?
Lisa Bizzuto. She's
Lisa
on our
Bizzuto.
conservation committee. I
Okay.
think she's also on forest and agriculture. So she's well involved in those.
Lisa's great.
Yeah.
Good,
Yeah, she's really,
resource.
yeah.
And while we don't have any land use policies that falls under the tree warden, I know we do work with arborists and consultants as far as what plantings and everything else to use that would be the best for this area.
Right.
Right now we're working with Ken Ghost about the ash borer treatments in Ice Glen and stuff like that. So while we don't have an established policy, we typically are using natives. We don't use pesticides on town land. We don't, none of that. So, I think what Laura's proposing is to make it more formal.
Or consider it. I'm not even saying we have to do it. I'm just saying
know
that.
about it, yeah.
What?
Just to be aware of.
Yeah,
what
I think, and she is, but you don't know about the next tree warden. So it's just and so I think that would be a management practice. And you just want to say, okay, how much is just standard practice for tree wardens and how much would you appreciate, would you want to do that? And just to look at that.
Mhm.
That was it. Any other comments or thoughts on that?
So what other committee is she on already
She's-
with the?
I believe she's on conservation. I know she's on conservation. I think she's on forest and agriculture also.
Yeah, this might be totally superfluous because it's already happening with those committees, but it's also it's one of those, it made me think about it because it's also the intersection, which we've been kind of talking about. What's the intersection of our
committees.
committee work?
Right.
And,
other committee.
and I don't,
Yeah.
and then when I was talking to Mike, it's like, we don't have to talk to, the individual committees and find out what they're doing. Let's just go right to the person who's in charge of it and talk to her.
Right.
So is the tree warden a voluntary activity or is it a,
It's got a stipend to it. There's an annual
does she
stipend.
do it for other towns as well or just?
No, just
Stockbridge?
yeah.
I know I was taking a walk up on Ice Glen right after that huge tree fell along the thing. And she was up there at 8 a.m. She just wanted to see it for herself. And this was before the election and before, I don't know when it was, but she was totally
On top of it.
on top of it. Yeah, ready, diving in, working.
And it's only, just to make everybody aware, the tree warden is responsible for all public trees.
Right.
So
In the right of
it
way.
falls within those that are in right of ways, those that are
A
in
lot of trees.
hundreds of thousands of trees, literally, yes.
Incredible.
In our parks, in our everything, you know, sometimes there's jurisdictional overlap, such as like in the parks. If she wants to do any plantings or anything else, that has to be coordinated with the Park and Rec Committee. Unless it's a tree that's dying or dead and creates a public hazard, then she has the authority to do it. And, you know, she even has the authority with the consultation of arborists to remove a dangerous tree, even out of a stream or something, if it's creating and then deal with conservation later.
Right.
So it's one of the few positions that has quite a bit of authority. That has to be done by law with conjunction with a certified arborist to say that tree better come down or it's going to fall. And if it's in like a park, we don't want to risk a child or something waiting for permits. So you take it down and then you get the permits retroactive. But it is. But outside of the dead and dying trees, which is strictly the tree warden's issue, forestry and the rest is something she can work with other boards. So that would be plannings and
Right, yes.
strategies around what we're doing at our parks and stuff and roadways and the rest.
In terms of meeting, Laura, are you thinking that several of us could meet with Lisa, or it may be difficult for her to?
No, I'm thinking I have no idea. I'm just thinking that just I could just reach out to her and see what would be best for her. Would she like to meet with, and then I can let you know if we set up a time. Would you, who's interested, or she could come to a meeting? Who's interested in learning more, meeting with her? Everybody?
Yeah.
You can do the for initial contact.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Just like we did with Matt.
Yeah.
A couple of us had coffee. And then if there's a follow-up, we can bring it to the committee.
With respect to open meeting, it seems to me that if only two of us, two from the committee could meet with her outside of this.
That's right. That's what we did with Matt.
Okay.
For Forest and Ag.
So we,
Do an initial.
Initial?
Make it standard. Because even though it's not a quorum, you can't circumvent, but an initial meeting with her would be.
Just an introductory meeting.
Beyond that, bring her to the board.
No decision.
okay, who, is there some, I mean, I can try to, I can call or write to her, email her or something. I've met her, but I don't really know
I
her.
would just shoot her. It's tree warden at Stockbridge.
I know Lisa from walking around town and interacting with her on some other things.
Great. Do you want to contact her?
I'd be happy to.
Great. So just talk to her, call her and see if she'd like to either come to a meeting or meet with you and me, or just talk to her about, I mean, you know, the gist of it. It's sort of just, is there a formal policy? Is there an unwritten policy? What are her, and is this something that she would like to think about more, talk about more? It's not really our expertise or anyone here, but I think with all of her resources and things that we know, we could definitely, I have some samples, you know, from other towns of policies. And then if it was a policy, the select board would have to do that. So it's really her domain. And we're just trying to say, can we be a resource to you? Does this make sense?
Does she have a full-time job otherwise?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
What was the question?
Does she have a full-time job otherwise?
She does. She works at the rigs.
Okay.
Oh, right. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, great. So why don't you contact her and you can either send an email back, or if there's a follow-up, shorter, smaller coffee or something, I'm happy to do that. Or she's welcome. You can invite her to the next meeting.
Okay.
And then I think we're just open. We're just initiating, just reaching
Yeah, I'd like to
out.
hear from her how she interfaces with the other committees,
Okay.
and departments like Parks and
Only been
Rec.
our tree warden since July 1st.
I see.
So Friday.
What our plans are to.
Yes, there you go, that's better.
Okay. Yeah, so that would be lovely, but she works and she has time. If she can
Yeah.
come, we can put her first on the agenda. We can talk for 10 or 15
15, yeah.
minutes at most. And she can go to work, whatever is good, really whatever is good for her.
Okay.
We're not, this isn't a high pressure situation, and there's no emergency. We're just expanding our, things. Okay. I think, and on the SOARS policy, we're still waiting for the election, and then Michael will bring it to the select board at the appropriate, that's time
Just
as
that.
well.
You're talking about that revision,
Yeah,
just so that,
yeah, that's in place. You just have to,
Okay.
that'll probably be sometime in the early fall. Now we're up to updates, which should be pretty, okay, climate leader application. So I spoke to Chris Mason. He's our coordinator from the state for the Western Mass. And I asked him, how do we know what's happening, or let us know what's happening? And he said that pretty much, he can't, it's like they have deadlines and then we wait, is sort of, he said it too. So we've met everything. They've all been, I think different parts of the application were shipped out to different people. If we haven't received any questions by now, everything is probably fine. And that would probably 90% mean that it's been approved by DOER and now it's just moving up. Ultimately, things wait for the governor. And so I think that's where it is. It's somewhere in cyberspace and somewhere looking for the governor. In the meantime, there's a deadline in December for a technical assistance application. I think he's sort of saying proceed as if you've been approved is how we should proceed. And there is a deadline in December for a technical assistance application. And now we're going to kind of move to another agenda topic because I think Michael and I unless things have changed in the last 24 hours, we had some new ideas yesterday.
At the beginning of this meeting, I had sent out recommended language to start every meeting.
Oh, you're so right.
Yes.
Okay, you're right. I have it somewhere.
Well, we actually have little cheat sheets. I wasn't here for
good.
the starting of the meeting.
Oh, thank you.
Let's just do it now. Just
Okay,
read
thank
this.
you.
Because we had an open meeting law complaint against our assessors board because they didn't announce that the meeting was recorded. We
Okay,
are recording it. And we got they also, if you have a person participating remotely, you have to say who they are, and then you have to do a roll call vote. So what we did is we looked at what the other towns around us, and everybody did basically the same thing after they've been called out on some of these. They're very small issues, but they are requirements. So I'm going to recommend that you put them right in the front of right at the top of your agenda.
And just,
So that it's just there.
Okay.
So I've been going to boards and saying, reminding them.
okay, that's a good
Yeah.
idea. And then, everyone here we know that lives there.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the announcements. Pursuant to MGLC 30A symbol 20F, after notifying the chair of the public body, any person may record or transmit this open meeting. This hybrid meeting is being recorded by the town of Stockbridge. The names of members participating remotely will be announced. Any member of the public wishing to speak must first receive permission from the chair. The agenda items listed are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, but not all may be discussed, and other topics not listed may be brought up for discussion by the public body as permitted by law. Does the public body include us?
You guys are the public body.
We're the public body,
Most likely you'll never deal with that last one.
right?
Because usually the only way that's going to happen is it's an emergency and it would basically be a life safety issue.
Okay.
And very seldom would the Green Committee be facing something that it has to. I doubt it would ever.
yeah,
I think,
But it just covers us as one generic one for all the boards.
right.
right.
Because conservation could have a last second thing that's a conservation issue, that's an emergency. The select board could have an emergency, so instead of trying to come up with individual language, we just came up with language, ran it by leaf, said, yeah, every board should just say this, and it just protects us.
So, yeah, okay, so now we're compliant, excuse me. So anyway, we're gonna, and by December, and it takes a while, an application for technical assistance would be due, and those can be up to 150,000 as opposed to 25,000 just as a green communities, it's 25, as a climate leader, it's up to 150. So I think we've been really focusing on the short and long-term issues related to the town offices to make them more efficient in dealing with whatever these things are called, the units.
Heat pump units.
The heat pump units and the heating system, which is still gas, and what the roadmap says, when we'll replace it and what an expensive project it is. But in our conversation yesterday, when we really thought about the pace of the town needing to replace the heating system and potential changes in technology and the short-term needs, it just seemed that that wasn't necessarily as pressing. But what is potentially pressing and exciting would be to look at the DPW building, which has some, I would say, flaws when it was built. Some of it's oversight and some of it's whatever. And when Guardian, who's on the state list of approved contractors, I'm saying all this fast, somewhat for your benefit, but it's okay to repeat things so you can kind of get the feeling of it. When they did their energy audits to review them to see what there was that needed to be done, they noticed a few things about that building, which are incredibly inefficient, but it didn't seem like there was a path forward because they're so embedded in the building, like there's no lift for the people.
Well, they didn't identify that.
Well, they didn't identify, but that's an
identified that
obstacle.
Basically,
Okay.
they gave us a proposal of 24,000, do a retro assessment of the building. Now, the building's only been open for 4 years. So something you shouldn't necessarily have to do, but we don't need to revisit the entire thing about that building. Because me and Laura started talking about this building, and one of the things we're running into is the only problem with our heating system in here are the individual heat pump condenser units here at this. There's 144. They have a manufacturer life of
144 what?
of these units.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they have a lifespan of 15 to 20 years. They're all 17 years old. So we're starting to see, last year we saw 8 fail. One right there. You can see the new one compared to the others. We did contact National Grid. There's not enough savings in the difference, even though based on what we would have to put in as a replacement, there's not enough savings where we would get credits for it. So we can't get the credits for those units to replace. And it is maintenance because these were expected to have to be replaced as part of your overall plan. The only way the states, when we talk to the state, the only way the state would most likely the only way the state would consider helping us with these is part of an entire overhaul of our heating system going to zero, which would mean geothermal. And geothermal closed loop wells. And we're talking like 30 wells that would have to be put in for this building. So,
And then they have to be maintained.
then they have to be maintained. And, and the interesting part is this building started off geothermal. I don't know if everybody knows that. The geothermal failed, as did the one in North Adams, the one in Williamstown, everyone that was put in about 20 years ago. They didn't survive. They were all also open loop systems. Dirt and everything, they just didn't work the way they were expecting, didn't hold up well in this climate area. So what the town did is it basically retrofitted the system to artificially make the system think it's still on geothermal. So in the winter, we heat the water to 67 degrees downstairs using the gas furnaces and then pump that water through because that's the temperature of the groundwater that was supposed to be pulled up through. And then the heat pumps do their thing where they condense the heat and put out the heat. And then in the summer, we have to put the water through at 67 degrees. So we have a cooling tower, which of course I've said to people, confused the heck out of me when I first came because I ran an ice rink up in North Adams. That was one of the things that I helped do. And I'm like, why is there a cooling tower on a building? But that's because we have to lower the water to 67, gets pushed through and then is used for your air conditioning. So we're, the system's still the entire system built around the well system, but instead of the water coming up from the wells, it's either coming from the gas furnaces or from the cooling tower and being put through at the same temperature. And every time, Laura's been involved, every time we bring somebody in or any outfit or anything, they, huh? And then it's like, oh, then they get it because they're like, oh, you would have had to redo all your, so instead you just fixed it the way it was.
It's a jury-rigged system.
It's a total.
It is. Oh, yeah.
But it
It's unique.
works.
It works.
So this works pretty rugged.
It works, and just what are the efficiency implications of the, just in terms of efficiency? Because you're using gas to heat
Right.
and you're using some kind of power to cool,
Yeah.
right? So it says, I mean, is there,
The advantage is that unlike a regular system, we're not trying to heat the water to the temperature you would putting forced hot water through. I think that's usually around, correct me if I'm wrong, because they're engineer, that's usually around 130 degrees. And instead, we're just pushing 67 degree water.
then the heat pump does its thing.
And the heat pump does its thing. Now, one of the negatives is, one of the things that we have to be aware of is some of the piping in the wall, they didn't use copper. They used
PVC.
PVC plastic, because the anticipation is that we wouldn't be pushing hot water through. So the only copper pipes are the ones that are coming off of our hot water tanks that have the hand wash on them. But the rest of them is being pushed through a plastic pipe because the temperature was expected to be somewhere between 60 and 70 degrees. So you didn't need to, and it was a cost savings. Well, that's great, but if we go to switch over to anything that had higher temperatures, yeah,
So-
you can't.
I just want to say, so we've been really focused on this building and getting the technical assistance and doing everything, but there are so many, but then I don't know exactly what causes, but let's talk
Well,
about this
the reason why we
switch.
switched over
It's
is-
because some of that's such long-term that by the time, if we did the analysis and looked at the plastic piping and looked at the geothermal and looked at all of the issues, and we're not really ready to spend millions of dollars when it's, at this point, it's sort of a pain in the neck, but it's feasible to keep going and replacing these. Is there a better use for technical assistance where I think we were both saying like, okay, there's nothing we can do with that building because it's so new and it's sort of a mess. And then it's like, well, wait a minute.
DPW building?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
So-
there
so
is some things
just
that we
finish,
can do.
you know,
Okay.
The cooling
finish this.
tower and the gas boilers are only about, I think they're 11 years old. They're not old. So our system here is running, and I think we just wait to see if technology comes
Yeah.
out that would better fit this building over the next decade. We've seen how technology's changed. Instead of trying to go with some geothermal at this point, maybe it is geothermal down the road, but I know Guardian mentioned some open air heat and cooling sources or some, but everything they were thinking of was going to be massive in cost and everything else, and it's really not there yet. So that made us start talking about what other buildings in town.
Right.
Before you go to the other
Yep.
building, so this all makes sense, Michael. Have you weighed into the equation, the anticipated failure of the units over the next several years? So,
Well-
worst case scenario, 100 of them fail and you have to be replaced in the next 2 years.
So they're about $6,000 a piece.
So again, I think it's just looking at looking at all the factors, right? So
Yeah.
how much have you sort of in the back of your mind or envelope allotted for continuing maintenance?
So we're looking at having to do like 8 to 10 a year.
Okay.
And some are priority, some aren't. I was surprised a room downstairs we were renting out, and now we're making it into another storage room, had 4 of these and a room a little bigger than this. Our current guy said that's a little bit of overkill. So we actually scavenged the parts out of 2 of them for elsewhere and have 2, one is a backup, one running, but it's a storage room. We just want basic heat there. So we're evaluating the whole process going forward, but this is going to be a continual thing. And even if yeah, it's just part of the maintenance of this building now. So it's just becoming a reality. That's going to have to be a cost every year. Put in roughly about 50,000 put in annually to replace units as they fail.
Okay.
And that, so we're not expecting, we're expecting as we do each one and we do some in each room, get the newer ones in, and that, so.
And Michael, I'm sure you have the operating costs for the boiler and for the cooling tower as well to take a look at? How much?
I can get that information. I mean, as far as how much it costs to, operate, but the boilers, our gas bill is not huge for the size of this building.
Yeah.
So, it's, I could get you the exact numbers. I don't know them off the top of my head.
Okay, okay. We could talk about it more.
Yeah.
But you wanted to talk about the DPW.
Yeah. So in talking about the DPW, there's a bunch, so they came up with a bunch of things from our air handling units down there to, so one thing, decisions were made, not sure by who, of what to put in or what. Things like we put radiant heat in the floor of the garage. It does all right. The garage is not the most efficient. The reason why we went with radiant heat was so if the guys were working on their vehicles, they were not on a cold floor. We have our drains in the floor. That's a cement floor. And we have the rinse off in the winter, so the vehicles don't freeze in the building. So they rinse the salt off the building into the drains, into the cement floor that has radiant heat. I was a little surprised. It's like, the only question I asked, that's why Laura brought it up, is I said, why didn't they just, instead of having the guys have to be on the floor, we could have put a more traditional heating system in and put a lift on in one of the bays, and then the guys wouldn't have been working off the floor. And that would have probably allowed us to do what we needed to do. There was no solar included on this building, and it's only a 4-year-old building, and why it's not solar, why it's not running with heat pumps and the rest, I'm not sure. It's being run off natural gas. But it is one of those things, unless we get a grant and look at it, it is a 4-year-old building that we're saying, we're already going to turn around and look at, but there may be some actual efficiencies that under the Climate Leader program with a retro assessment and the rest, that we might be able to address some of these. We've had trouble with the hot water down there, not quite working, the air handling. It's just, we've had some issues, and we think that this could help address some of these issues and look at what would be the most efficient way of doing it. I mean, I did point out the floor, once they put the radiant heat in the floor, you really can't put the lift in because you're going to have to put the piers through and exactly where the radiant is and the rest. So
How thick is the slab?
it's thick.
Yeah, because the spread, maybe you don't have to go through the slab for the piers for the lifts. Maybe you could do a little spread footing.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
And then the tubes, are they PVC tubes in the floor for radiant heat or plastic? Probably plastic, right?
I thought it was hard plastic.
Yeah. They should be fairly resistant to salt.
Yeah.
Though them themselves should be. The concrete maybe not, but
Yeah.
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 Well, this was great to have some comments because what we were thinking is, we've sort of been, I think what Michael was saying, it's 4 years old, we shouldn't be doing this. But then if we could actually apply for a technical assistance grant for 150 to have Guardian and the engineers and look at it. And especially at this point, there are some issues even with the roof and the construction if it needs to put solar on the roof. And then if the roof was part of it, then, the timing is, I think there's time, I don't know if we'd be able to apply, but the goal, I think, would be to do the technical assistance and then be able to apply for up to $1 million to actually make some significant changes in that building with the solar and the,
Even just switching some of it over to electric heat pumps and the rest to heat that building. Even if we just do the office space and the other areas that are not, it seems like you could put solar up there and behind the meter, you could be running that and still have the gas as the backup. So if we have a power outage or something else, so you leave the existing system in there, but you would run the primary off of the heat. Especially you have half that roof is facing south. And it's just
And I think that would guide the technical about the Guardian evaluation in terms of, have the list of things and then see what we can afford and or get grants for, and then.
And I think the thing that the state will like about this, and I'll like about it, but we all will, is that part of this is to look at the fact that, reducing use of fossil fuels.
Yeah.
With the solar and with the.
I think we could get us close to zero down there if we're running off the solar, and then we just tell them that we're going to keep the gas in just in case in case during the winter we don't have enough and, we can't run off a national grid because of power outage, and basically have it as a supplemental that would run in extremely cold temperatures, because it is an open garage. So when they're in operations, it's 20 below zero, the garage doors are being opened. Sometimes I know some of those systems have trouble keeping up with extreme cold weathers, but in the winter, but if we had the natural gas as the backup, that would kick on if the temperature went below a certain temperature because they can't keep up. I know that's what we ended up, that's sort of what's done here. I know we did that in North Adams with the geothermal there, took it off and moved over, and then the gas power kicks on when needed. So,
Is the roof flat or slanted?
it's slanted,
Directionally, toward what?
north and south. So one half of the roof is facing south.
So it'd be ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, and is it maximally insulated?
The office spaces, the garage has okay insulation, but it's, around the doors and winter operations and that, it's a constant open and close, blasts of cold air coming in as they're moving equipment in and out. So
Would that be part of the assessment by Guardian?
it would be weatherization, other stuff, which they did identify in the retro one, some things that
Great.
could have been done.
Sorry.
That's okay. I was wondering, the salt shed, is that going to be replaced?
So right now, it looks like we're not going to replace it. So
Okay.
we've had a little change.
Because I was wondering if that would be a roof where.
Yeah, we think
Rated-
that's also a
Solar
roof for
heat.
solar.
Solar.
So we originally got an assessment on the salt shed. We were told to build a new one was going to be $1 million.
Mhm.
So then we looked at whether or not we could just retrofit the supports, and everything are still strong in there. The couple of broken ones have been replaced, and we've talked about doing some other repairs around it, resheathing it, and then putting up metal siding on the building, and then put a new roof on it. And when we go to do the new roof, we talked about doing the new roof and looking at it.
That's east-west, I guess, right?
No, that's north-south too, with an
Okay.
entire huge section of the roof
Yeah.
facing south.
That could be built to take the solar,
Yes.
yeah.
And is there a time frame for that?
So more than likely, we're going to go out over the winter, looking at putting a new roof on it.
Okay. So that could actually, depending on what, you can have two projects under one grant.
Well, we could call it the DPW.
The DPW.
The salt shed
exactly,
and
the
everything
salt shed,
all in
exactly,
under
one project,
DPW compound.
the compound, right, so that's
Yeah.
that's a good thought.
It's all
That's
right there, yeah.
So
So me and Laura, we can work on.
we can work on
initial
this.
stuff to look
Yeah,
at.
that's a conversation with Guardian. I know, Tim, I know you're interested in participating in those conversations when you can. It sounds like you're interested
Well,
too.
that's what I kind of do for
That's what you
a
do.
living, yeah. Yeah, facilities for that, for plants and public
Oh.
facilities, yeah.
I thought it was more water, but it's.
Well, every water plant has all
A
these
roof.
same issues.
Yes.
Heating, saving power, geothermal, which have
Great.
never been maintained well anywhere I've ever seen in the public community. So,
I think we can run, I'm happy to get everybody's, when we had something,
yeah,
we can just have you comment on it. And
Yeah.
Guardian is open to that too. I don't think there's any, there's kind of no secrets. We just want it to be a really good application.
Yeah.
So,
any part of that 150,000 can you use to actually build something? Or is it all
No, the 150 is the planning.
It's all soft stuff.
This is
But yeah, it's
something
all
that you
soft
do?
stuff.
Yeah, we can do that, but I wouldn't be part of,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then-
My company does that, but I wouldn't be
Yes.
involved. I wouldn't bring them into the picture.
Okay,
So,
I already have Guardian and.
yeah, they do, the first 150 is the soft, which opens you up for the $1 million
Okay.
part.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Sounds like a no-brainer.
Yeah, is that the climate leader designation? Does that have to be in place?
Yeah, but,
Well,
but,
said we could apply, assuming we're gonna get
We
it.
can-
And if we don't get it, then we're gonna be delayed a year. But if we do get it between now and December, we should get an application in. And if we get approved, then they'll consider our application.
Okay.
yeah, I mean, that's what he said, is just go, just as, there's no reason to delay, because if they don't come out till October, then we have a deadline. If we can just get started now, we can just
Yeah.
move things along at a reasonable pace, and it might be more visits from Guardian, and then hope, you know, I
Worst
mean,
case
I don't
scenario.
like, this is not my MO, but I think we should just assume that we've met all the criteria.
Worst case scenario is whatever we submit, we can just resubmit.
Exactly.
If for some reason we don't get approved.
Exactly.
Next year.
So this is, I think this is
No-brainer.
exciting, because I think that we can really, I'm just so positive that there can be stuff done to that building, which has problems that we can fix while we're making it more efficient and getting off of fossil fuels. It just seems like a good project, even though,
Is there other stuff for me? I got.
no, you can, no, the only thing, do you want to do the quick update on municipal aggregation? Do you want to say anything
Well,
about
we have the
that?
municipal aggregation plan in place. Quite a few people have switched over. We did the temporary switch over. So if anybody was on National Grid Basic Service, they were moved over to the Stockbridge Community Aggregation Program. If you're not sure, you have any questions, right on our website, Colonial Power has a page set up just for Stockbridge residents, which you can go and check it out. So if you're on a secondary source, we did go in for just till November. And we've already gone out with the other towns, and we'll be shortly announcing the new rates and everything else that'll be coming out. And that'll be locked in for the next 3 years. I do tell people it's more about stability. A lot of times the first year, the rates are very similar, if not almost identical to what National Grid is. The advantage is I've always seen that over the multiple years, the benefit we have, because prices of electricity haven't come down, except for the one time when it spiked to 33 cents. And then it did come down, but that was an anomaly. It's in place, it's up and working. If anybody ever questions it, just ask. Go to our website and look up our aggregation program, and it'll take them right to the site. And Colonial Power, their job is to assist people in going through it. Okay. Yeah, good.
Okay, yeah, you go.
All right.
Thank you so much. See you next month or in between. Let's just take these things a little bit out of order, but I really want to, we're working on the annual report. The annual report for 2025 is really just reporting to DOER how much energy we used and a narrative about that. So we're just waiting. The tricky parts, not the tricky parts. Mike Buffoni from what was, he manages it. I can show it to you. It's a very useful if you use it. It's just data. It's like if you want to lose weight, you have to measure yourself. So it just downloads all the electric consumption. He has to add gas, oil, and propane. Natural gas is downloaded automatically. And then the only other thing is the vehicle inventory and the gas and diesel he gets from the accountant. So once that's there, then I write the narrative and we submit it. It's pretty straightforward at this point.
It shows trends. It shows trends.
It shows
compared to
trends,
others.
yeah. I mean, right now, I think we've reduced our energy consumption about 30% from 2015
Okay.
in the buildings. It might not be between 20 and 30. And COVID, of course, had a big difference. Now, like I just noticed that this building is not using so much less. And I asked Michael and I'll write it in the narrative, but I think there are 12 new staff people and 8, it's like a lot of it's around occupancy. So during COVID, there was much less occupancy. Now the energy use has gone up, but we can look at that.
And this past winter was a colder winter.
Yeah, well, they adjust it for weather, but I don't remember which table I was looking at.
Okay.
But it gives good information and all that. So anyway, so we're working on that. That'll have like a November, December deadline, which is important to me.
But when you say they adjusted for weather,
The computers adjust it. They look at the degree, they look at your consumption and then they look at how many degree days there were.
right?
And then,
But it's still you still report out the increased consumption.
Well, no, it looks at both of those. It looks at weather adjusted reductions as well. They're two tables,
It's raw.
raw data and then weather adjusted
weather
data.
adjusted.
So that you can do
For
it
comparison,
for comparison.
just for comparison.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
purposes.
Yeah,
Okay.
if one winter was cold and the other winter was warm, you want to make it apples and apples and look at,
But
what the computer would
both sets of
say.
data are viewed because even if it's out of our control, causes, more severe weather up and down, that's going to influence
Absolutely,
our consumption and our
right,
emissions, right?
Right.
absolutely.
Fossil fuel use. So, but that's also part of the big equation.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, it's not, and it doesn't change that much because of weather, but some.
Okay.
So anyway, so that's just in process and you'll see that before it gets submitted. The street lighting, Mike is working with, I think the person, our district rep with National Grid is on paternity leave. So at some point, again, National Grid was going to replace the downtown streetlights, which are serviced by underground power, and they haven't done it yet. And I'm sure that as they get ready for winter and deal with this and deal with that, it's not a high priority. And I don't really know whether we're on a schedule or if it's the squeaky wheel or how those decisions are made. So he's going to talk with our rep, who's terrific, Robert Ide, who's he likes to find out, he likes to serve his towns. So he's good but anyway, he's out right
So
now.
that's for all of Main Street here.
It's the
and
Main
part so it's quite a few lights, right?
It's quite a few, it's
Yeah.
all downtown,
Yeah.
which
So
weren't part of the original street lighting project because the town didn't want to own them because one mess could require going out to bid and drilling and owning and everything. And it could wipe out all the savings, whereas right now, National Grid has to cover that cost. And when we did decide to own them, it was because National Grid only would replace streetlights with 4,000 Kelvin lamps. And we wanted 3,000 Kelvin lamps
Difference.
because that was more bird friendly and environmentally friendly and didn't affect the safety. So the only way we could do that was to buy them. And so doing, we realized you could subcontract out all the maintenance and save all the money on rental in addition to all the money on electric, and which has been very good. So we were happy about that decision, everybody.
Yep.
Just be happy about that decision. So that's that. I wanted to do two things and then and I wanted to ask a question. One is, to say thank you to Steve. Did you see the picture?
Big a deal.
Yeah.
It is a big deal.
Is it inside the?
It's inside the information because that's all they would let us do.
I think the big deal is
Exciting.
patience, which is, and just.
Little steps.
But the sign looks beautiful, I think.
Yeah.
Really professional, really
I haven't
nice.
seen it in person, but in the picture it looked
It
nice.
looks really good.
Yeah.
And
I don't know
Barbara's.
that anybody ever goes into that information.
It doesn't,
Some people do.
it's okay. It's, I think what you're saying, it's the relationship is that we did it. It wasn't a hassle. We worked with her and,
Yeah, I think that it was a relationship building with the Chamber of Commerce.
right.
And, we've been talking about getting the business community more aware of us.
Right.
There's been an email exchange with Barbara about that. How the business community often is not in tune with not only this committee's scope, but town issues in general. So, I think one of the things that we can continue to nurture is a relationship with the business community. And, what are we doing to help them? In terms of sustainability, where our mission is focused on the municipality, but there's things that we're learning and we have expertise that can help businesses with their own sustainable practices. and, maybe help them get grants or, for rebates and things like that, if they're going to convert to LED lighting. And there's, things like that, which are opportunities for us to have a closer relationship with the business community. So I just throw that out there as a first step.
Right.
I think working with the chamber and, if it ever made sense to have a conversation with Barbara and the chamber and, and not all business owners are chamber members,
Right.
So that's not, that doesn't encompass everything.
Right.
But, they're a part of the community fossil fuel utilization as well.
I
We
mean,
don't have control over it, but we can certainly help influence it.
I mean, that to me, it's like, it's really, what is our mission? And it is there, I've driven or whatever. I have a pretty clear boundary that we're really focused on municipal operations.
Right.
When it's easy, or there can be something maybe for Stockbridge updates or something else. But, it's about what's our mission and our mandate, and also what's our bandwidth and capacity, and what do people want to do? So I think that is sort of on a case by case basis. I mean, I 1,000% agree that there more needs to be done with residents and businesses around education is so key. And so it's sort of trying to, this actually could lead into the conversation with Matt, with forestry. I mean, all the committees, I think, have that same conflict or struggle, because there's some challenge is better. Yeah. Because like Conservation Commission, I mean, that works with people, but in fact, they're very limited in certain kinds of powers. And then they don't do things like really the outreach on the pesticides and the lawns, and I don't think they do. Maybe you know more in your house about, what products you should use on your lawn so that they don't go into the lake and things like that. I mean, there's so much that could be done, and getting people to do energy audits. I started to look at something and then I didn't. I think National Grid has some potential programs to reach out to residents. And I looked it up, their community partnership program. I think it might only be for communities which have income eligible populations. And I think we did in 2020, and I don't know if that's still what they're using. And that's just a reminder to me. I'll try to continue. But if we could find a pot of money for someone to supervise and to really do that outreach, I would think it would be great. And if there's things that are within our capability, that's great too.
So we can think about that.
Yeah, I think that's
Again, it's a
right.
agenda for
Right,
next
for the
year,
future,
for, and just make ourselves known as a resource
Right.
for people. That's all.
Right.
And that doesn't take a lot of effort, but there's expertise here that they could, weigh in on or utilize, and just
Right.
make them aware of it.
Right.
So,
If I could jump in here.
Good.
One of the other things I am on is I'm on the Yes Monument Committee for
The which?
Yes Monument. It's separate from the district of supporting the.
Oh, yeah.
The new high school. And I don't know if you're familiar, but one big aspect about the new high school is that it will be geothermal, it will be solar ready. I don't think I need to tell you about the inefficiencies of the existing building.
Right.
But it's single pane windows, it's propane, we're basically heating the outdoors. Anyways, and I don't know to what degree this committee, because in terms of, it's not technically a municipal building, but it is obviously a community building. And the difference between the new building and the old building from a environmental standpoint is huge. And I don't know if you're familiar, I mean, that's something I'm gonna look into more to find out, because I know it is, in the design, is it the LEED certified, and like I say.
Oh, great.
Will be geothermal, and that was one of the driving forces of the design, is to make this building, bring it up to code, essentially. And I'm not sure if you guys know that if it does not get approved, the plan will be simply to fix that existing building. which
Yeah.
would take approximately 10 years.
Yeah.
Cost the same amount of money. But still, just
No,
from.
it's important to
you
know.
Looking through the lens, like I think for this committee to look through the lens of what can that building do for the environment and our community? And I don't know what we can or can't do in terms of supporting it.
I think that's really, I went to the school committee meetings years ago before they did when they did the two buildings for the middle and one, they made one a green building and one a regular building.
Right.
I mean, it was the craziest kind of thing because there was money for one green building, but not for two. And I think that at this point, that's proven itself in all of the ways that things are more comfortable and more environmentally friendly and all of those things. So it sounds like it's all on the right track.
It is. I know they're getting, I think it's $1.5 million from Mass Save. So they're getting as
They're
much
doing it.
money as they can. It's unfortunate it won't be solar, but it is solar ready. And I'm not sure why. It probably because they are, I don't know, the building's at $150 million.
Well, I would say that.
Come from, and it's.
And maybe at some point, I don't know, down the road, we can apply for one, they're called PON, one program opportunity notice at a time. So who knows when, but so like we can apply for 150,000 for this technical assistance. We can't apply for another 150,000 until that's done. We could apply for $1 million to do something here. We can't apply for another $1 million until that's done. I think the way we've organized ourselves as for a community is that the school district isn't included. Because, I mean, it'd be very hard for Stockbridge to include it and try to get all the information and the this and that and the reporting, whatever. So it's better for the town to not be involved. But I know that I would think that the state would be very eager to, if there's a way down the road for us to be able to apply for $1 million for that or whatever it would be, something that we could look at that too.
The town applies for it.
I mean, possibly
Yeah.
since it's our regional school
Right.
district, and I think the state really wants, it depends on how the climate applications go and where we are and how many grants, it's a competitive grant and whatever, but it's, there might be a way down the road. But I think that it's so important, that you're involved and interested in kind of the buildings.
Yeah.
And the way we all use our energy and spend it.
It's a big one.
It's a huge one. That's great. Thank you. That's important. And I think along the same lines, we're getting through the agenda. We're almost done. I think anything else on the charging stations? Okay. And the only other thing is I think we should say one thing about our meeting with Matt from Forestry and Agriculture. Do you have anything what was your takeaway?
My short-term memory loss.
I know, yeah, exactly. I was trying to think the same thing.
But you took down some notes, right? And there were some follow-ups.
I don't know if there was any follow-up. I think that really it was, I think there was, they
there were a
were
couple
working on
areas of
I think the
synergy.
composting,
Right.
they're sort of pushing on that. And I think we wanted to just kind of let them take that
the
lead and see where that
We would
was.
support it.
Because they were very interested in still getting the
Right.
composting at the transfer station.
I think we offered to be,
Yeah.
supportive of it.
And I think the other thing was, I don't have my notes in front of me, but that again, their bandwidth as volunteers is limited.
Right.
So they do what they can do and they establish their priorities, and everything agriculture and everything forest, they can't do.
Yeah.
And just like us, we can't do what we can do. That's why I was thinking, okay, if we can look a little bit about the trees and see if there's native trees, that would be one thing. The other thing I was thinking that we could do for ourselves is if you're interested, or if you think if there's a subject that you want to know more about, I don't know who would do it, like whether it's rates or policies or state policies, something that came up, we could try to see if there's someone who could give a 10-minute or 15-minute overview. Like I know that the DPU, I just saw it in one of my emails, has just passed rate relief, I would say about 17% if you have heat pumps in your house. So I'm going to save about 17%. And I think I'm automatically enrolled because I got the Mass Save rebate for that. So it's like, oh, this is interesting. It would be really good to know what's happening with rate design a little bit more. Bye, we're going to go.
Okay.
Joe,
See you soon.
well, I think this is the last. So it's something
But
just,
nothing jumped out in the conversation with Matt in terms of obvious
yeah. no,
synergies
there-
or gaps. That was our goal. You know, we talked about meeting with the other committees that touch on environment,
Right.
you know, that touch on our mission. And we just wanted, you know, is there a need for anything to address synergies and gaps across the different committees? You know, again, for efficiency purposes, right? And communication. So I think it's still a worthy endeavor to continue to reach out as we're talking about one
think
by
so, too.
one to the different committees and just let them, you know,
Right.
let people know that we're here and we're willing to support what they're doing and vice versa.
Sounds really good. Okay,
Okay. Thanks, Paul.
thank
And
you.
thanks for pointing that out. I'm gonna, on the visit, I'm gonna use that to circle back.
Wonderful.
The open issue.
Thank you, Steve.
I'm good at it.
Okay, let's see, I think we went through the agenda. Anything else that anyone wants to bring up or? I think we're pretty up to date and we've kind of, in our projects, I think the next ones are sort of. We'll see. You're gonna,
W.
the DPW would
That's,
be really exciting
Yeah.
because it's a messed up building.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
and it's really unfortunate. And there didn't seem to be any light to do this. And now all of a sudden it's like, wait, maybe we can actually do something.
Right.
So I'm more excited. This is a known problem and it's gonna, we know what the solution is and we have it in the roadmap. And if Mike feels like he can go along doing what we're doing, and that's what he wants to do for the next few years, why spend 150,000 when everything's can change in
Right.
5 years? Let's do something that we can do now. So I think that's a good direction.
Good insight.
And you two are great. And yeah, and then I'll try to keep you more in the loop when we're talking to Guardian and but nothing really, it all just happens when it happens, but we can do that.
Well, Miles has seen this play out.
Yeah, I could certainly review their scope of work, make sure
Okay.
it makes sense.
Great.
Um,
Okay, I'm gonna tell,
This is what I do.
okay. Okay, good.
Good work.
Very good. I have to write that in my notes somewhere, so I remember
I
that.
can shoot you an email.
Okay, that would be terrific.
Yep.
And you're gonna talk to Lisa.
Yes.
And I'm gonna tell Michael that I think you have to write your letter. You're gonna send your letter. Will you CC me?
Yep.
And then, tell Michael that that the committee's met with you and we recommend that you join the committee. That
Yep.
sound good to you all, you guys? Good. All right. Anyone want to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay. Tim moved.
Neil, what's your last name?
Weber,
Weber.
2 Bs.
It's 10, what is it? 10:45.
9:44.
10:44.